So another thing the soul protector will motivate us to, will motivate in us is to take risk. And the risk taking is not reckless. The risk taking from the soul protector is from a space of making sure things are secure. So the soul protector is going to make sure that things are secure, or they're going to try to investigate things that are secure or what it can secure in order for it to take risk. The soul protector is a self-motivated uh, soul archetype. So it definitely wants to go and do and pursue. Again, it's a masculine neutral energy. But when a soul protector really makes a move, it really locks in, right? And it's really going to go straight to complete the task. So before it really sets, really before it sets target to whoever's particular aim or whatever type of duty it's trying to fulfill, it wants to define the risk so that way it can understand in probability or the probabilities that's involved that's reference to the risk of how it can go about doing certain things. So the soul protector is a very forward moving soul archetype. So in this month, September, the soul protector is definitely going to be prompting us to complete things and also prompting us to explore certain things to start, okay? And not starting taking action, what I say is to start to begin to evaluate, right, of certain actions that's going to be happening, say, like next year. So it's going to have us start to really get in a very explorative mode. And one of the things we're going to explore is all the risk factors behind whatever that initiative or idea or whatever call of duty that it feels that it needs to go and carry out. So the soul protector is going to move, especially when we become, just more mindful of what emanates from that soul archetype as it relates to us personally, to our own energetic profile. We're going to find ourselves becoming prompted to commit to something to do. It's going to prompt us to recognize the work that is required to bring something to completion. It's going to prompt us to look at the risk factors associated with that sense of mission or call to duty, or whatever initiative we're trying to do. It's going to look at the risk associated with the work, or try to look at what type of work is required, what's more required versus what less required. What do I need to apply my energy at more versus something less? Because sometimes we can be just doing redundancy work. So the soul protector doesn't want to get itself caught up in doing redundant work. Okay, so that's a part of a risk factor. So if a soul protector views that, there's a lot of redundancies in this work, it's going to lose its sense of motivation to go and charge forward. So it's going to look at that. So it's definitely going to be prompt looking at the risk factors, and it's also going to be prompt to look at how and what it can do to securitize what it needs to go and achieve, or where are the different milestones in in those phases that it might go into in terms of pursuing what it needs to pursue. How can they establish security points? One thing about the soul protector, what it's going to do is it's not just going to just keep running full charge and not pause. It's going to look for security points, security checks. That will even happen inside relationships. And so they're going to, because remember, one of the drivers behind the soul protectors, mindset is definition. So it's going to seek out those defining points, those security points, so that way it somewhat have a sense of assurance to continue to charge forward and do what it needs to do. So this is a nice soul archetype. If we wrestle with completing things, here we go. So if we wrestle completing things, more than likely we can pin it to, there might be something that we might be wrestling with our soul protector within ourselves, with yielding, aligning to it. And so everything I just mentioned are some things that we might want to start visiting and looking at. so that way we can start to figure out how to balance, how to cultivate certain things so we can kind of go forward. A lot of times we don't really move forward in simple things. It's simply because of what? The uncertainty. Uncertainty connects to what? Risk. And so, and where we see when uncertainty outshines what is certain in many cases for a lot of people, then we begin to do what? We begin to avoid the whole mission. So the soul protector is like, yo, you're not going to avoid your mission. You're going to bring completion. But it's going to encourage us in order to bring the completion to get an in-depth understanding, a defined understanding of the risk involved and the things associated with. And then also it'll help us focus on what are some securing things, securing actions, some predictability, right? That we can implement to assure us in order for us to feel good and reassured as we're moving forward to complete certain things. So this month is just, like I said, it's just it's going to encourage us in terms of the pursuits that we do to be, to be mindful of things that that's got done, talking about. So these are some things to consider about when we think about the soul protector as it influence all of us inside the month of September.